The night after the kiss felt like the longest of Amanda's life. She tossed on the expensive silk sheets Ji-hoon had forced into her room, staring at the ceiling as if it held answers. Her lips still tingled. Her heart still raced whenever she remembered the way he had whispered her name like a man breaking. And yet, the next morning, Ji-hoon acted as if nothing had happened. Amanda strolled into the massive dining hall wearing her usual bright hoodie and ripped jeans. She plopped down at the long table, grabbed a slice of toast, and chewed loudly. Ji-hoon sat at the other end, dressed sharply in a black suit, his tattoos peeking beneath the cuffs of his shirt. His son, Min-jun, sat between them, scribbling on his notebook. The silence was heavy, but Amanda wasn't having it. "So," she said, dragging out the word like a mischievous child, "we're just gonna ignore the fact that someone kissed me last night?" Ji-hoon didn't flinch, didn't even look up from his coffee. "You were in shock. You misinterpreted." Amanda choked on her toast. "Excuse me." Min-jun looked between them curiously, his pen poised over his notebook. Amanda leaned back, arms crossed. "Misinterpreted? Honey, I may be broke, but my lips are not delusional. You kissed me like a man auditioning for a K-drama finale." Ji-hoon finally looked up, his dark eyes dangerous. "It was a mistake." Amanda froze for a second. The words stung more than she expected. But instead of breaking down, she threw her head back and laughed. "A mistake? Oh please. The only mistake here is me not charging you for that kiss. Mafia billionaires should pay premium rates." Even Min-jun burst into a silent laugh, his small shoulders shaking as he scribbled quickly and held up the notebook. "Daddy is blushing. Amanda wins." Ji-hoon glared at his son, but Amanda nearly fell off her chair laughing. Later that afternoon, Amanda found herself in the garden with Min-jun. The boy was drawing, while she hummed a tune softly, tapping her knee in rhythm. Min-jun scribbled on his pad. "Why do you always sing?" Amanda smiled warmly. "Because music is like candy for the heart. Even when life is bitter, a little melody makes it sweeter." He tilted his head thoughtfully, then scribbled again. "I can't hear it, but I feel it when you sing. It makes me happy." Amanda's throat tightened. She ruffled his hair, blinking away tears. "Then I'll keep singing. For you." Behind them, Ji-hoon stood silently, watching the scene. His chest ached. Amanda had a way of breaking into their world with laughter, music, and warmth. Things he hadn't realized they were starving for. But the more he wanted her, the more dangerous it felt. That night, Amanda decided to tease him again. She marched straight into his study without knocking. Ji-hoon sat behind his desk, papers spread out, tattoos coiling up his forearm like living shadows. Amanda perched on the edge of his desk, crossing her legs deliberately. "So, Tattoo Daddy, are we just never gonna talk about it? The kiss? The fact that you're obviously obsessed with me?" Ji-hoon raised a brow. "Obsessed?" She leaned in dramatically, lowering her voice. You think you're slick, but I see you staring." "Don't worry, I stare back. Purely research purposes." For the first time, Ji-hoon smirked, a small, dangerous curve of his lips. "You're insufferable." Amanda gasped, clutching her chest in mock hurt. "Insufferable? That's Mafia code for, I'm falling hard for you. But my pride won't let me admit it." Ji-hoon leaned back in his chair, studying her with eyes that burned. "If I were falling, Amanda, I'd drag you down with me." Amanda's heart skipped. She covered it quickly with a grin. "Oh, baby, I swim." Their eyes locked. The air between them sizzled. And just before either could break the tension, Min-jun barged in holding a drawing. On the paper, stick figure Amanda and stick figure Ji-hoon were holding hands, with Min-jun smiling between them. Above it, he had written in big letters, "Family." Amanda laughed so hard she nearly cried. Ji-hoon, however, went silent, staring at the drawing as if it had cracked something inside him. For the first time in years, he realized his son wanted more than safety. He wanted love. That night, as Amanda lay in bed, she whispered into the silence, "This is dangerous. I shouldn't feel this way." But her heart didn't listen, and neither did Ji-hoon's. The morning sun poured through the tall windows of the Han mansion, lighting up the polished marble floors like liquid gold. Amanda stretched on the couch, a lollipop between her lips, humming off-key to a pop song playing faintly from her phone. Ji-hoon walked in, fresh from the gym, his black tank top clinging to his body, tattoos crawling across his chest and arms like dark secrets inked on skin. He grabbed a towel and wiped his face, clearly intending to walk past her without a word. But Amanda wasn't about to let that happen. Well, look who decided to audition for Korea's next top tattoo model, she said, sitting up and whistling dramatically. Ji-hoon shot her a cold glance. Don't start. Amanda leaned forward, eyes sparkling with mischief. Too late. I've already started. Seriously though, what's this one mean? She pointed at the swirling ink on his bicep. Is it a dragon? A snake? Or just your artistic way of saying, I scare people for a living? Ji-hoon sighed, but his lips twitched. It's none of your business. Amanda gasped, clutching her lollipop. Excuse me? You can't just walk around looking like a walking tattoo museum and then say none of my business. Tattoos are like books, Mr. Mafia. You don't get them unless there's a story. Before he could respond, Minjun appeared, holding his ever-present notebook. He scribbled fast and held it up. Ask him about the dragon. Mommy used to like it. The air froze for a second. Amanda's teasing smile softened. She looked at Ji-hoon, who suddenly seemed older, more tired, his jaw clenched tight. Gently, she sat beside Minjun and signed slowly. It's okay. Your daddy doesn't have to tell me. Ji-hoon's gaze flickered to her. For a moment, something unspoken passed between them. Gratitude, pain, vulnerability. But Amanda, being Amanda, quickly flipped the mood. She reached out and tapped another tattoo near his wrist. All right then, if you won't spill, I'll guess. This one definitely says, beware, I'm allergic to broccoli. Minjun erupted in silent laughter, clutching his stomach. Ji-hoon pinched the bridge of his nose, but there was no hiding the small smile tugging at his lips. Later that day, Amanda found herself in the kitchen with Minjun. They were baking cookies. Well, Amanda was mostly making a mess while Minjun supervised like a tiny, judgmental chef. Flour covered the counter, chocolate chips were everywhere, and Amanda had a streak of dough on her cheek. Don't give me that look, she told Minjun, who had just written "You're messy" on his pad. Messy is part of my process. Thank you very much. Ji-hoon entered just as Amanda tried to juggle 2 eggs and promptly dropped them on the floor. He stared at the chaos, then at her. What is this? Amanda wiped her hands on her apron and grinned. Domestic bliss, tattoo daddy. Don't be jealous. I'm training your son to be the next Gordon Ramsay. Minjun proudly held up a tray of slightly burnt cookies. Ji-hoon took one, bit into it, and immediately coughed. This tastes like love. Amanda interrupted quickly, smirking. It tastes like love. Ji-hoon raised a brow. It tastes like salt. Amanda gasped dramatically. Well, excuse me, Mr. Billionaire. Not all of us have private chefs who season our lives perfectly. Some of us just sprinkle chaos and hope it tastes good. Minjun scribbled fast and showed his note. You two fight like you're already married. Amanda choked on her laughter. Ji-hoon froze mid-bite. The silence stretched until Amanda leaned down to Minjun and whispered loudly, Sweetheart, your dad wishes. Ji-hoon nearly dropped the cookie. Amanda. What? She batted her lashes innocently. I'm just stating facts. Don't glare at me like I tattooed the truth on your forehead. That evening, Amanda was in her room, strumming a small guitar she had picked up in the city. Music always calmed her, and she hummed softly, lost in the melody. She didn't notice Ji-hoon standing at the doorway until he spoke. You love music, he said quietly. Amanda jumped, then placed the guitar aside. Yeah, it's the only thing that's always been mine. Music doesn't care if you're broke or rich. It doesn't care if you're loud or quiet. It just exists, and it makes life lighter. Ji-hoon leaned against the frame, arms crossed. His tattoos shifted in the low light, shadows over skin. And yet, my son can't hear it. Amanda's chest ached. He doesn't need to hear it. He feels it. Through vibrations, through laughter, through us. Music is everywhere if you look close enough. For once, Ji-hoon didn't have a comeback. He just stared at her like she was saying things no one had ever dared tell him. Amanda smiled softly. Don't worry, Tattoo Daddy. between your scary muscles and my off-key singing. Minjun's growing up surrounded by all the music he needs. Jihoon huffed a laugh, shaking his head. But in his eyes, there was something tender, something dangerous, something that scared him more than any rival mafia ever could. The morning sunlight spilled gently across the living room, hitting the polished floors of Jihoon's mansion. Outside, the city hummed with life, but inside, a quieter chaos had begun. Amanda was kneeling on the floor, tying Minju's shoes, while the boy chattered silently, signing excitedly with rapid hands that made Amanda grin. "You're going to trip over those laces if you keep signing so fast," she teased, tugging the laces tighter. Minju looked up at her with a mischievous glint, signing back. "You talk too much." Amanda laughed loudly. "Excuse me? I'm just giving professional caregiver advice, mister." She poked his shoulder playfully, earning a small, delighted laugh from him. From across the room, Jihoon leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, a faint smirk on his tattooed arms. His dark eyes followed every gesture. The way Amanda's curls fell over her face as she laughed. The way Minju's whole body lit up whenever she was near. Jihoon's voice, low and teasing, cut through the morning air. "You know, she doesn't even need to work here. He'd probably be happy with just candy and jokes all day." Amanda glanced up at him, raising an eyebrow. "Is that jealousy I hear, Mr. Mafia?" Jihoon stepped closer, his shadow stretching over her. "Jealous? Hardly. I'm just observant. Someone has to make sure he doesn't spoil her rotten." "Oh, please," Amanda replied, rolling her eyes. "I'm already spoiled enough. Don't act like you care so much about rules now." Jihoon didn't respond immediately. He just crouched slightly, bringing himself closer to the boy's eye level. Minju, sensing the subtle tension, giggled and tugged Amanda's sleeve, signing quickly. "He's weird but okay." Amanda laughed again, shaking her head. "I think he just said you're weird, Mr. Mafia." Jihoon chuckled softly. "I can live with that." The morning passed with playful banter. Breakfast spilled slightly onto the floor, and Minju insisting that Amanda try a bite of his oversized pancake, which she dramatically pretended to refuse but eventually gave into. Every laugh, every small argument, every gentle push and poke built a warmth that neither Amanda nor Jihoon wanted to admit, but both felt. After breakfast, Amanda sat beside the boy, brushing crumbs from his shirt. "You know," she said softly, almost to herself, "he's growing up so fast. One day he's going to be taller than me and probably more stubborn too." Jihoon, standing nearby, watched her with quiet intensity. "And you'll still be here, bossing him around?" Amanda's lips twitched. Bossing him? Never. Guiding him? Maybe. A little. She glanced up, meeting Jihoon's gaze for the briefest second before looking away. The room fell into a comfortable silence, broken only by Minju's signing and occasional giggles. Jihoon crossed the room, kneeling slightly to bring himself closer to Amanda. I like how you handle him," he said quietly. "Not just the boy, but everything. You're good for him." Amanda froze, her fingers pausing mid-brush. She blinked, unsure if she should laugh it off or pretend not to care. "Good for him? Careful, Mr. Mafia, you're starting to sound sentimental." Jihoon's smirk softened into something gentler. "Maybe I am. Maybe I just like seeing him happy." Amanda's heart skipped a beat, but she turned back to Minju, signing quickly to distract herself. "Don't you dare tell him I'm blushing." Minju giggled, catching on immediately, signing back. Too late. Amanda laughed out loud, shaking her head, while Jihoon shook his head with a faint, almost amused smile. This little family of three, chaotic, messy, loud, was forming in quiet, subtle ways that no one outside could understand. Later, Amanda found herself alone in the kitchen, humming softly to herself, the aroma of tea filling the room. Jihoon appeared behind her, leaning casually against the counter. "You hum too much," he said, though there was no real accusation in his voice. Amanda laughed, brushing her hair back. "I hum because I'm happy, and maybe because I like to annoy you a little." Jihoon's dark eyes softened as he looked at her. "You annoy me, in the best possible way." Amanda froze, feeling warmth flood her chest. Mafia men don't say things like that, she muttered, trying to hide the smile threatening to break out. Ji-hoon leaned slightly closer, his tattooed arm brushing against hers. Maybe I'm not just a mafia man anymore, he said quietly, his gaze unwavering. Amanda's heart raced. She opened her mouth to joke, to deflect, but nothing came out. For once, she just let the moment breathe, letting the soft hum of the kitchen and the distant sounds of the city fill the silence between them. And in that quiet, fleeting moment, she realized that something was changing, something she didn't want to fight anymore. The day ended with Minju asleep in his bed, Amanda sitting beside him, Ji-hoon standing silently by the doorway. No words were exchanged about feelings, no confessions were made, but the air between Amanda and Ji-hoon was thick with unspoken emotions, playful tension, and a warmth that promised more than either of them dared admit. The mansion was quiet that afternoon, the soft hum of the city outside barely reaching the expansive rooms. Amanda was in the living room, seated cross-legged on the floor, carefully arranging candy for Minju. She hummed a soft tune, letting the music fill the space. Minju sat opposite her, signing excitedly as he tried to persuade her to give him more candy before lunch. You know, Amanda said, holding up a caramel, if I give you too many sweets, you'll bounce off the walls and scare your dad. Ji-hoon appeared in the doorway, his tattoos peeking under the rolled-up sleeves of his shirt. He can't scare me, he said casually, leaning against the doorframe. I've survived far worse. Amanda smirked. Oh really? And surviving a quiet moment like this is so hard for you. Ji-hoon didn't respond immediately. Instead, he walked closer, observing her carefully. The sunlight caught the ink on his arm, and for a moment, he looked less intimidating, almost human, almost approachable. Minju clapped his hands, signing quickly. She's making me eat too much. Help. Amanda laughed, handing him one more piece of candy, her fingers brushing his tiny hand. See? I'm generous but fair. Ji-hoon's eyes lingered on that simple touch longer than he intended. He cleared his throat. Careful. She might be plotting something. Amanda raised an eyebrow, teasing. Me? Plotting? What? To steal your heart. Ji-hoon froze, his gaze flicking to her with a flash of surprise. He quickly shook his head, hiding the small smile threatening to break free. I'm not falling for that trick, he said firmly. Amanda laughed, shaking her head. Trick? Please, I'm far too honest for that. I just enjoy watching you struggle to keep a straight face. The banter continued, playful but loaded with tension neither wanted to admit. Every glance, every teasing smile, felt like a spark. Amanda caught Ji-hoon staring at her more than once, and each time she caught him, she made a face, pretending to be absorbed in arranging candy. After a while, Minju leaned against Amanda, his small head resting on her shoulder. You always make me happy, he signed softly. Amanda's chest warmed. She stroked his hair gently. And you make my day brighter, Minju. Always. Ji-hoon watched them, his jaw tight. He stepped closer, not wanting to interfere but unable to pull his eyes away. You've done more for him than I could, he admitted quietly. Amanda looked up at him, surprise in her eyes. That wasn't very mafia of you. Ji-hoon smirked faintly. I'm not always about intimidation and rules. Sometimes, I just want what's best for him. Amanda's heart skipped. The way his words softened, the way his gaze lingered. It was a language without words, a silent connection she felt deep in her chest. The afternoon continued with small lessons, laughter, and quiet moments of care. Amanda tried not to notice how close Ji-hoon got whenever Minju needed help reaching something, or how protective he became when the boy nearly tripped. At one point, Amanda tripped on a loose rug herself, and Ji-hoon's arms were there instantly, steadying her. Careful, he said quietly, his eyes locked on hers. Amanda, heart racing, whispered, I can take care of myself. Ji-hoon's smirk softened into a gentle smile. I know. I just want to be there. Amanda's fingers brushed his by accident as she reached for a candy wrapper. Both froze. The air seemed to thicken, and for a moment, neither spoke. The playful teasing, the laughter, the banter. All paused as if the room itself was holding its breath. Minju, oblivious to the tension, signed something rapidly and laughed, breaking the moment. "He's smiling at you again." Amanda laughed, turning away to hide her flushed face. "Stop pointing that out, child. You're conspiring against me." Ji-hoon's dark eyes softened as he watched her, a rare tenderness in his expression. "Maybe I don't mind conspiring," he said quietly. Amanda blinked, caught off guard, but quickly covered her reaction with a dramatic sigh. "You're impossible," she muttered, though a small smile tugged at her lips. Later, Ji-hoon found himself in the study, glancing at Amanda and Min-ju through the doorway. The way she laughed at his son's antics, the way she looked so natural, so alive. He felt a pang in his chest. A part of him, the part he never allowed anyone to see, wanted to reach her, to tell her he cared. Not just for Min-ju, but for her too. But he didn't. Instead, he simply watched, letting the silence speak for him. As Amanda hummed a soft tune, while Min-ju tried to mimic her hand movements in playful sign language. And for the first time in a long time, Ji-hoon allowed himself to hope that maybe, just maybe, happiness wasn't as impossible as he had always believed. The day ended with small victories. Candy eaten, laughter shared, and tiny sparks of something neither Amanda nor Ji-hoon wanted to name yet. The mansion felt warmer, lighter, filled with a quiet promise that something beautiful was beginning. One laugh, one touch, one glance at a time. The night had fallen softly over the mansion, the city lights outside twinkling like tiny stars. Inside, the living room was warm and quiet. Min-ju had already gone to bed, snuggled under his blanket with a stuffed animal clutched tightly. Amanda stood by the doorway, watching him sleep, a gentle smile tugging at her lips. Ji-hoon emerged from the shadows, his tattooed arms crossed, his expression unreadable yet softened by the sight of the boy finally at peace. "He sleeps better when you're around," he said quietly, leaning against the wall. Amanda shrugged lightly, trying to act casual. "I don't know. Maybe he just likes me more than his scary dad." She grinned, teasing, but her eyes betrayed a warmth that made Ji-hoon pause. "Scary?" he asked, a hint of amusement in his tone. "I'm terrifying?" Amanda laughed softly. "You're terrifying, sometimes, but not always. Not when you watch him like that." Ji-hoon's gaze lingered on her, tracing the curve of her smile, the sparkle in her eyes. "I suppose that's fair," he admitted. For a moment, silence wrapped around them, comfortable yet filled with unspoken tension. Then Amanda tilted her head, a playful smirk forming. "So, what do you do when you're not intimidating everyone around you?" Ji-hoon raised an eyebrow. "What do you think I do? Run a business empire, protect my son, and occasionally scare people like you?" Amanda laughed, moving closer, but still keeping just enough distance to tease him. "Occasionally scare me? That's generous. You've been scaring me since day one." He smirked, stepping slightly closer. "Am I supposed to apologize?" "You could try," Amanda replied, pretending to be stern, but her cheeks betrayed a soft blush. Ji-hoon's gaze dropped to her lips for just a second, enough to make Amanda's heart skip. He cleared his throat and looked back at her eyes, forcing a smirk. "I'll think about it." Amanda rolled her eyes dramatically. "Thinking about it isn't the same as doing it, Mr. Mafia." A soft laugh escaped him, low and rich, filling the room. "You make it difficult to stay serious." Amanda grinned, feeling a warmth spread in her chest. She leaned back slightly, brushing a stray curl behind her ear. "Good. I like being difficult." The quiet continued, but the air was charged. It was in the small things. The way Ji-hoon's hand lingered near hers when he picked up a fallen pen. The way he watched her laugh. The way Min-ju's happiness seemed to soften every edge of his usually stern demeanor. Amanda finally broke the silence. "You know, you don't have to pretend around me. You can be you." Ji-hoon's eyes softened, but he didn't respond immediately. He only nodded slightly, a gesture that said more than words could. Amanda smiled, feeling the shift, subtle but undeniable. "Good night, Mr. Mafia," she whispered, heading toward the staircase. "Good night, Amanda," he replied quietly, his voice lingering in the air long after she had left. As Amanda climbed the stairs, she caught herself thinking about the way Ji-hoon looked at her. Not just at her, but at them, her and Min-ju, as a little family. A thought she quickly pushed away. She entered her room, sitting on the edge of her bed, humming softly. The house was quiet, but her mind was alive, replaying small gestures, fleeting glances, and words left unsaid. Tonight had been ordinary, yet something inside had shifted, something tender and fragile. And in that quiet, Amanda realized that her feelings, however carefully hidden, were starting to grow. But she wasn't ready to admit it, not even to herself. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the tall windows of the mansion, casting a warm glow over the polished floors. Amanda was in the kitchen, singing softly while preparing breakfast for Minju. The smell of pancakes and toast filled the air, mixing with the faint aroma of fresh coffee. Minju was sitting at the table, signing rapidly as he tried to negotiate extra syrup. Amanda laughed, ruffling his hair. "No, Mr. Negotiator. One extra drizzle is enough. You don't want to turn into a sugar tornado." From the doorway, Ji-hoon watched, leaning casually against the frame. His dark eyes, lined with faint shadows from a long night, were fixed on Amanda as she moved around the kitchen. Even with her messy curls and oversized sweatshirt, she radiated a light that seemed to warm the whole room. Amanda caught his gaze and smirked. "Why are you staring, Mr. Mafia? Planning to enforce your strict no fun before breakfast rule again?" Ji-hoon's lips curved into a rare, small smile. "Just observing," he said. "Someone has to make sure my son doesn't get completely spoiled by you." Amanda laughed, pretending not to notice the soft edge in his voice. "Oh, I see. So that's your excuse for just standing there, doing nothing?" Ji-hoon stepped closer, the distance between them shrinking by inches. "Someone has to supervise the chef," he teased. Amanda pretended to glare but couldn't hide the quickening of her heartbeat. "Chef? You dare call me that? I'm the master of pancakes, sir." "Master, not chef." Ji-hoon's smirk deepened. "Master, then. Master of mischief and syrup." Amanda rolled her eyes, trying to focus on flipping pancakes without losing her composure. But Ji-hoon was impossible to ignore. Every time he moved, leaned, or spoke, it was like a magnet drawing her attention. Minju giggled suddenly, signing something quickly. Amanda glanced at him. "What did you just say, little troublemaker?" He pointed toward Ji-hoon, signing rapidly. "He's smiling at you. Again." Amanda froze, her face heating up. She quickly turned back to the pancakes, trying to hide the fluttering in her chest. "He's not. He's just focused on breakfast," she muttered, more to herself than anyone else. Ji-hoon, however, had clearly heard and wasn't going to let her dismiss it so easily. He leaned closer, close enough that she could feel the warmth radiating from him. "Focused? That's your excuse?" he asked, his tone teasing but softer than usual. Amanda bit her lip, trying to hold back a laugh and a blush at the same time. "Yes, focused. Absolutely. Don't read too much into it, Mr. Mafia." He smirked, the corner of his lips twitching. "I never read too much into anything. I just noticed things." Amanda's heart skipped. There was something unspoken in his words, something heavier than playful banter, yet she couldn't place it. She gave him a pointed look, trying to regain her composure. "Well, I noticed things too, Mr. Mafia, but I don't tell anyone." Ji-hoon's gaze lingered on her for a moment longer, a rare softness in his dark eyes. "I'll keep that in mind," he said quietly, though the edge in his voice betrayed a hint of something more. The morning passed with laughter, gentle teasing, and small moments that spoke volumes without words. Minju bounced happily between them, signing and giggling, unaware of the tiny sparks flying between his caregiver and his father. Later, as Amanda was putting away the breakfast dishes, Ji-hoon appeared behind her. He gently brushed her shoulder with his hand, reaching for a cup. "Careful," he said softly. "You might drop it." Amanda's chest fluttered at the touch, and she turned to him with a playful grin. "Or maybe I like living dangerously," she said, trying to mask the warmth rising inside her. Ji-hoon chuckled lowly, his gaze softening. "Living dangerously, huh? I suppose I can allow it. Sometimes." Amanda felt a shiver of excitement at his words, and for a moment, the room felt smaller, cozier, and more intimate. The playful banter had shifted into something tender, something neither of them wanted to name yet, but it lingered in every glance, every accidental touch, every laugh shared in quiet. As the afternoon light faded into evening, Amanda found herself sitting on the sofa, Minju resting his head on her lap. Ji-hoon sat across from them, observing quietly, a protective aura around him. Amanda hummed softly, running her fingers through Minju's hair. Ji-hoon's gaze softened as he watched the scene. The boy's laughter, Amanda's gentle care, the way her hair caught the last rays of the sun. He felt a warmth he hadn't allowed himself to feel in years, and a part of him wanted to reach out, to touch, to bridge the space between them. But he didn't. Not yet. Instead, he let the quiet moments speak, letting Amanda laugh, let Minju play, and let the tension simmer between them, knowing that soon, those unspoken feelings would demand attention. And in the soft, fading light of the day, it became clear. This little family of three was forming in ways neither Amanda nor Ji-hoon could ignore, and neither wanted to fight anymore. The mansion was quiet that evening, the city outside glowing with millions of lights. Amanda was sitting on the couch, her fingers gently strumming her guitar, a soft melody filling the room. Minju had already gone to bed, tucked in with a tiny smile still lingering on his face. The boy's laughter and antics still echoed in her mind, making her heart warm. Ji-hoon stood by the doorway, his silhouette framed by the soft light. He watched Amanda for a long moment, the tattoos on his arms catching the glow of the room, giving him a dangerous yet mesmerizing look. But his eyes weren't on the tattoos, they were on her. The way her curls fell over her face, the way she hummed as she played, and the gentle tilt of her lips when she smiled. Amanda sensed his gaze and smirked without looking up. "You're staring again, Mr. Mafia. You really should get a hobby." Ji-hoon's dark eyes softened, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "Maybe my hobby is watching you." Amanda paused midstrum, feeling heat rise to her cheeks. "Watching me?" she repeated, a teasing lilt in her voice. "Is that all you do? Or are you plotting something else?" Ji-hoon took a slow step closer, the air between them thickening. "I'm not plotting," he said, his tone quiet but intense. I want to be near you." Amanda's heart skipped a beat. She put down her guitar, pretending to adjust her sleeve, but the warmth in her chest betrayed her. "Near me?" she asked softly, trying to sound casual but failing. "Yes," Ji-hoon admitted, taking another step closer, until the distance between them was just a whisper of space. "I've tried to fight it, tried to stay distant, but I can't. I care too much. About you, and about him." He gestured toward Minju. Amanda's eyes softened, and for the first time, she let herself take in the raw honesty in his voice. "Ji-hoon?" she whispered, stepping closer too, the playfulness giving way to something more tender. "I care too, more than I thought I would." For a moment, the world outside ceased to exist. No city lights, no distant hum, no looming responsibilities. Just the two of them, standing close, hearts beating faster than words could convey. Ji-hoon reached out, his hand gently brushing a stray curl from Amanda's face. "You have no idea how much this boy has changed me, and how much you've changed me too." Amanda's lips trembled slightly as she smiled softly. "And you think I haven't noticed?" she teased, though her voice was low and warm. He chuckled softly, leaning in, their foreheads almost touching. "I guess we're both stubborn," he murmured. Amanda laughed quietly, a soft, melodic sound. Yes, we are. But maybe that's not so bad." The tension between them melted into warmth, and Ji-hoon closed the tiny gap between them, brushing his lips against hers in a gentle, lingering kiss. Amanda's hands rested lightly on his chest, feeling the steady thrum of his heartbeat against her palms. The kiss was soft, yet it carried all the weight of unspoken feelings, laughter, care, and tenderness. Minju, who had been peeking from the staircase, signed rapidly. "Finally!" Amanda giggled quietly, teasing the boy silently, but Ji-hoon only smiled, his arms wrapping gently around both of them. The rest of the evening passed in quiet contentment. Amanda sat between Ji-hoon and Minju on the couch, the soft hum of her guitar still filling the space, laughter and gentle teasing blending with whispered confessions. They were a little family now, fragile yet strong, bound by love, trust, and small moments of joy. Amanda leaned against Ji-hoon, resting her head lightly on his shoulder. "I never thought I'd find This, she whispered. Ji-hoon pressed a gentle kiss to her temple. Neither did I, but here we are, together. And for the first time in a long time, Amanda let herself believe that happiness, laughter, and love could exist alongside danger, responsibility, and the chaos of life. That night, the mansion felt warmer than ever before, filled with music, laughter, and the quiet certainty that their little family was finally whole. Even as the city lights twinkled outside, inside, hearts were full, and the first true sparks of love were finally free to shine.
Hello, besties. In this story, we learn that sometimes love begins in the most unexpected places, not with romance, but with kindness. Amanda's laughter showed Jihoon that true connection isn't about wealth or status, but about someone who truly sees you. And even the coldest mafia's heart can melt when touched by genuine care. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly like, subscribe, and share.